So I just picked up a new snare drum recently. It's a Pearl 6.5 by 14 inch Sensitone Elite Brass snare drum, and ever since I started this YouTube channel, I've been kind of interested in trying out some new sounds, including different types of drums and different drum heads. I've been drumming for 21 years and I really haven't changed my sound too much, even though I do play different styles like jazz and rock and funk. Obviously I use like different kits for those type of gigs, but in terms of my sound on the drums, I haven't really experimented too much with stuff like that. So today, one experiment that I'm gonna try is utilizing these Equalizer PureSound snare wires. And so the thought process behind this is that it's two different sections of snare wires on either side. They've removed the middle section of snare wires. So there's 16 snare strands in total, but they're positioned kind of on the outer edges of the snare bed. And the thought process behind this is that you're going to get less sympathetic snare buzz. It should be a drier and a cleaner snare response. And so I'm kind of curious to see how this is going to sound. In this video, I'm going to go through a couple of different tuning ranges on this snare drum. I'm going to do all of this kind of without muffling, and then towards the end, I'll kind of fine tune the sound and we can do a direct comparison utilizing probably one moon gel on this snare drum here. But let's get started first with the low tuning. I should mention the setup that I'm using on the snare drum. I have a fairly new Evans Genera HD coated head on top, and then a snare side 300 on the bottom. And I'm using kind of just some stock, really old 20 strand snare wires. I just recently got this drum, but the previous owner had had it for about 10 years. So I kind of cleaned it up, and that was just kind of what was on it. I did replace the top head fairly recently, but I am working with those stock 20 strand snare wires underneath for comparison. I will say, compared to the previous 20 strand wires, these snare wires feel a little bit different to dial in with the tension adjustment knob back here. It almost feels like I have to tighten it a little bit more for it to get good contact with the resonant head, but that might just be me. At the low tuning, obviously with no muffling, this drum is pretty wild and out of control anyways because of it being a brass snare drum. It seemed like the overall snare buzz was a little bit shorter with the equalizer wires though. As we're going through these different tuning schemes, make sure to let me know down in the comments which one was your favorite and what differences do you notice between the two snare wires. All right, we're going to take it to around a medium tuning range now. At this medium tuning, I am definitely having to experiment a little bit with the tightness of the snares to try to find that sweet spot where things sound nice and crispy, but not too choked. Gonna tune it up to a medium-high tuning range. This is typically where I like to have my snare drums. Let's see what we got. I will say at this medium-high tuning, I am noticing a lot less sympathetic snare buzz from the rack tom here, so that's definitely really nice. At the higher end dynamics, the snares are feeling pretty crispy as well. All right, I've placed one moon gel on the top head here to kind of control some of the ring, and I brought it back to kind of my favorite medium-high tuning, equalize the lugs, and let's just play around with this a bit and kind of listen to what sounds we get out of this thing. All in all, I would say I noticed less sympathetic snare buzz with these snare wires, but time will tell as to whether or not I enjoy the sound more than the normal 20 strand, and I still have a lot of experimenting to do with this drum to kind of figure out what sounds I really enjoy out of it. Again, let me know down in the comments what you think of these different tunings and snare sounds. Can you hear the difference between the snare wires? Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.